It is such an honor to have the chance to talk to you guys tonight. This is my last year at Georgia Tech, and I started off lucky enough to be on the football team. And unfortunately, like Brandon said, after my second year, I was injured and could no longer continue to play. Now, as an offensive lineman, I was about 300 pounds, 303. I'm a little bit smaller than that now, because as you can imagine, there are not a lot of benefits to being a 300-pound, non-football playing 20-year-old. So I got a little bit healthier. I dropped about 100 pounds, and people always ask me, what is the biggest difference? And it is, without a doubt, that the people I sit next to on an airplane are so much happier than they used to be. It's night and day, I mean, really. The other difference is I order a lot less takeout food than I used to. Everybody always thought it was for a party. You know, I'd pick it up, there'd be 4 or 5 sets of silverware in the bag. I'm like, guys, you got to stop doing this to me. Start with 1 set of silverware, and we'll go from there. So when I stopped playing, I wanted to get a little bit more involved on campus, and it just so happened one of my friends asked me if I wanted to be the coach of a sorority flag football team, which, as a college guy, that's a pretty coveted position, being the coach of a sorority flag football team. But you know, at the time, I was an ex-lineman, and great things like that do not happen to linemen. I've checked with the other linemen. They were like, are you sure they were asking you? Are you sure they weren't asking somebody like right behind you and you just kind of happened to be in the way at the time? But anyway, what I did not tell these girls was that in the 9 years of playing football, I had not once touched the ball. I was exclusively a blocker, so I had a lot to learn. And I played under Coach Johnson, who I think is an absolute genius with football strategy. I mean, he knows his stuff. But anybody that's played for him can tell you that the thing he hates more than anything is a missed assignment or when somebody doesn't do the right thing on a play. And I'll never forget my first week of practice. There was a guy who had a huge blown assignment. And the first thing I remember thinking is, wow, he is really fast, because, I mean, Coach Johnson was over here and the play was up here, and he covered it like Deion Sanders. I mean, he was right next to the kid. And the next thing I remember thinking is, wow, he is really angry. And, you know, but I'm like, it's hot, we're tired, there's a lot to remember here. You know, why is he so mad? And if you don't remember anything else tonight, I want to take the opportunity to say in front of everybody that after coaching 1 season of girls flag football, I 100% understand. I get it completely, totally valid. Now, in addition to that opportunity, I've also had the chance for the last 2 years to intern at the Alexander-Tharpe Fund, and I've loved every minute of it. And my favorite part is hearing people talk about why they love this school so much. You know, a lot of times you get the same sentiment. It's, I came here to go to school. I worked harder than I ever had in my life, and when I left, I was ready for the challenges I was going to face. There's this feeling of appreciation that their time at Tech had an exponential impact on their lives. And after hearing that so many times, you take a step back, and I looked around campus, and you can see what they're talking about. Because what I found is there's a grit and a fight here like that I've never seen anywhere else in my life. And a lot of times we laugh about it, and we complain about how hard it is. But the truth is we crave that challenge because we know that we can handle it. And something as seemingly mundane as being an in-season athlete trying to pass calculus. And to be very clear, I am in no way condoning calculus. But that mirrors the kind of challenges that you're going to face in real life. You know, Derek Moore, the team chaplain who came up and gave the invocation, would tell us something before every football game. And a lot of you have heard it. He'd say, we're going to fight until we can't fight no more. We're going to lie down and bleed a while, but we're going to get it back up, and we're going to fight some more. You see, we don't shy away from those responsibilities. In fact, we welcome them, knowing that the great things that so many in this generation has achieved, that my generation hopes to achieve, are not a possibility for us to dream about, but a responsibility to fulfill that potential. Because we live in a time of unprecedented innovation, where those who think differently and act differently can achieve what was once thought of as impossible. Where those with the perseverance to reach their goals can spark an engine that impacts the world. We stand at a time that craves the very kind of people that this school produces. I got the chance to play with and meet a lot of fantastic athletes in my time here, a lot of current and future professional athletes. But I can guarantee you I play with a lot more future CEOs, senators, doctors, lawyers, business owners, entrepreneurs, pillars of the community, and drivers of that gritty, innovative engine that has from the very beginning made this place special. Now, about a year ago, I was in an investments class with a guy named Philip Wheeler. And so if those of you that don't know Phil, he played linebacker here and then went to the NFL and chose to come back and get his degree. And we were working on this investments project together at about 10 o'clock at night in my living room. And I was tired. I'm like, dude, and I'm going to bed. We've done enough on this. And Phil said, no, we have a little bit more we can do. Let's work for another hour or so. I mean, he didn't need to finish that project. He didn't even need to come back to get his degree. The guy was a rock star. If he wanted to, he could have driven to the airport and got a first-class ticket to St. Bart's and never come back. I mean, I'll never forget him saying that he was going to do it to the best of his ability. It wasn't enough for him to just come back and get his degree. He wanted to do it the right way. Secondly, there was a girl in a class that I had who was terrified of public speaking, and in this particular class, we had to talk an awful lot in front of the rest of the class, and we asked her, why did you choose to take this class and not drop it? You could have taken it with somebody else. You wouldn't have had to talk so much. She said that she was going to face that head on, and it was something she was going to beat before she graduated. And she did. At the end of the year, she gave a phenomenal presentation. And I think that's a lot of courage, because I think most of the world walks out the door, they don't look back, and they drop the class. And then finally, stories of tech entrepreneurship could fill the entire night, but I'll never forget reading a donor alumni profile where there was a guy with a stable job. He left, and to support his business, took out 37 credit cards along the way. 37! The most amazing thing to me about that is that at 36, he was willing to double down. He was willing to bet on himself and take out another one. And he ended up selling out to a Fortune 500 company. That is just a microcosm of the kind of spirit that lives here. I started off this job wondering why someone would choose to give this kind of money for a scholarship. I have seen my friends fight over $5 at Taco Bell. What makes people want to give? And now I understand why. And more than just understanding why, I want to sit where you are one day. I want to be able to give back. Because I know that the kind of people that get out of here can and do change the world. There are a lot of great causes out there. You guys had a lot of choices when you were deciding what you were going to support. Thank you for choosing to invest in this generation and the ones to follow us. That is truly a very powerful legacy, and we will not let you down. Finally, I just want to say how appreciative I am of the student athletes here, because as a lot of you know, it is far from all glory. It's a lot of really cold and really hot runs, a lot of grueling workouts and practices. It's getting back from a game at midnight and having to study for a test the next day. It's committing a lot of time that could be spent partying or relaxing to improving yourself so that you can best represent all of us. But mostly, it is fighting till you can't fight anymore, lying down and bleeding a while, but always getting back up to fight again. My dad took me to my first tech game here before I could walk. I'll be a fan of this school for the rest of my life. And regardless of whether we win or lose, I will always be proud of how hard I know these athletes work to support us. It was one of the biggest honors of my life to be a part of this community. And now a huge honor to be a fan of your accomplishments. Because of the kind of people in this room, Georgia Tech will continue to have an exponential effect on the world for generations to come. And may it continue long after that. Thank you. Go Jackets.